Watch and burn.
Hey everybody! So tonight I am going to be discussing Gregg Araki's second film in his Teenage Apocalypse trilogy, and that is 1995's The Doom Generation, starring James Duval and Rose McGowan. Simply enough, this tells the story of Jordan White, played by James Duval, and Amy Blue, played by Rose McGowan. And of course, damn it, now I can't remember the guy that plays X. Well, they're out messing around. They're low-key dating, not dating. And just for the record, Rose McGowan's character, Amy Blue, she couldn't be more of like an angsty, disaffected 90s teenager. Like, I knew girls like this in high school. Like, you could walk into the room, you could be naked and on fire, and they'd be like, so what do you want me to do with that? Like, I'm not helping you. You're all hot and gross, and your dick is out. And it was like, Jesus Christ. When I saw this movie, I didn't see this movie in high school. I saw this movie, I saw it Nowhere first, if memory serves. I think I saw that on Showcase, and that would have been at the late high school or the end of high school. And I tracked this down after high school. I mean, this movie is like it's like the best music video ever made. It's like if MTV was gritty and grainy and it allowed the characters in their music videos that they played on MTV to run around convenience stores killing people and having the totals for all of their purchases at various fast food drive-thrus and convenience stores, and that always coming to a total of $6.66. And it's just so 90s. Whenever I think of the mid-90s, I automatically think of this movie and Nowhere. Now, as far as this being part of a trilogy, Gregg Araki's first film in the Teenage Apocalypse trilogy was Totally Fucked Up. He released that in 1993. And Totally Fucked Up, it's a cool movie, but you can very clearly tell that it was made on a shoestring budget, and it's starring people who are most likely not actors because the acting is kind of atrocious. But then he actually had a budget for this one, so he was able to hire a crew so he didn't have to shoot it himself, which gave him a lot more freedom to direct. And so you can tell that the performances are a lot more fleshed out, and the production value is greater, and I do technically have it on screen right now, so I'm constantly looking over at it. This movie is so much fun. The fashion is awesome. I love how they're like, it's almost like this is like a teenage Natural Born Killers, because they do kill the convenience store clerk at the first of the movie, at the start of the movie. But what they don't know is that the guys that they kill, his wife has already wiped out their family. So as the movie progresses, they begin to realize that they're most likely not even suspects in that murder because of what the wife did. And it seems like they're just allowed to sort of wander aimlessly through committing this crime and committing that crime and just sort of being so completely indifferent and so disaffected, which is so mid-90s. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they're in a record store, if memory serves, when they bump into these like redneck neo-Nazis who really freak out X. And they lose them, of course, and they end up in a warehouse where the Nazis find them, and they cut off James Duval's dick, and shove it in his mouth, and they rape Amy on top of an American flag. And I don't love that so much. Like, I hate rape in movies, so I felt that the rape scene was completely unnecessary. Like, they could have just beat the shit out of her or something. They didn't need to sexually assault her. But Gregg Araki's not the type to shy away from that. He also has a character fall victim to rape in Nowhere, which would be the final part in the Teenage Apocalypse trilogy that he would release a couple of years later in 97. So if you take issue with that sort of thing, it's a little ugly there. I hate that part of the movie. I usually skip it. And so the movie concludes with James Duval's character, Jordan White. He's dead. And X, Xavier Red, and Amy Blue don't even like each other. They're driving off, and can't remember who offers who a Dorito. And they're like, no, I'm good. And the movie just ends. And for some reason, the FBI gets involved. And I'm telling you, it's like a music video from, like, I don't know if the Smashing Pumpkins didn't suck or some shit, but Billy Corgan, he gets on my nerves, and I hate the Smashing Pumpkins. But it's true. This video is so perfectly this movie is so perfectly mid-90s. What else did I want to say about this? They end up in a love triangle. That's true, because Jordan and X sort of have like a low-key attraction to each other. They end up having a threesome, I think, right before the Nazis show up and rape Amy. yeah, I think that was it. I loved the exaggerated '90s visuals, how it would go to like a news report and it would be all gritty and grainy, and it would be clearly like it transposed on the screen very poorly, and it would look sort of all tattered and torn. And that's what I loved about this. Again, this is the best music video ever made. It's kind of like I feel the same way about this as I do about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, except this movie I actually like. But Rob Zombie's second Halloween does look like a very cool music video. It's just the movie is garbage. But it's like the best 2-hour music video ever made. And that's kind of how I feel about this, except I actually love the story. I love the characters. I believe the characters. Everything feels real and honest, despite how obviously over the top everything is. This is a wild ride. Check this out and Nowhere. Totally fucked up, like I said earlier. It's a good movie, but it's so clearly homemade. It's like porn without the sex. So it's in that sense, it's the weakest of the three, but definitely track this down, and then you have to see Nowhere. Nowhere is even fucking crazier than this movie, and Nowhere has a lot more people in it too, like big names, or at least names at the time, big names in the late '90s. And I mean, the set design in this is amazing. Everything's like, I mean, at one point they're at like a hotel room that's checkered black and white. It's kind of got this low keys, two-tone ska thing going on. And it just seems like there was so much attention paid to the production angle, like as far as the art direction and the overall look of this film. There's like, they put this under a magnifying glass to make sure that Araki got exactly what he wanted to get out of this. And yeah, this movie's amazing. And that's where I'm leaving it. So like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, don't forget that the world is so much more fun because you're here. And I am going to go because I'm starting to get kind of hot. So have a good night.